Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to a place for healthy conversations. I am Ms. Empower, and I'm always excited to log on Tuesday nights to have a live discussion. Um, this is our third week of reviewing a podcast called The Cheat Code. So, the cheat code can be found on an app called ACAST. And you type in the cheat code. I'm sorry, I kept saying cheat code, but it's the cheat code. And it's a podcast that reviews an affair that was had by two people who are married. Um, and on this podcast, it's 10 episodes of them talking about the affair. Why did I choose to review this podcast? Because it's a great model to just look at and kind of dissect the thought process of people who choose to cheat instead of taking the necessary precautions um, for your marriage. And it gives us the opportunity to talk about family and how it gets destroyed and they go through a devastating time because of decisions that are made to cheat instead of work things out, instead of communicating. Um, so when I chose this podcast, I didn't choose it because I was picking on the couples on the podcast. I chose it because they told their story so good. There were so many great details that we could jump in and kind of pull some things out, talk about some things, and maybe help some married couples out here or people that are getting ready to go into marriage. So, again, thank you for joining me tonight. I am Ms. Empower. This is a place for healthy conversations. Wednesdays, you will be able to log on and listen to a video, or it may be a live. Sometimes it may be a live, sometimes it might be a short. And this will be the Ms. Empower, I'm sorry, Dear Ms. Empower segment. So it will be emails that I receive from people asking for advice about something in reference to a relationship or a family dilemma. And again, it gives us the opportunity to talk about ways to have a healthy relationship within your home, your family, your job, whatever it is for you. We are here to talk about different ways to be more healthy in our mind, our bodies, and our soul. And sometimes you have these things in your mind and you don't have someone to talk about it with. So here I am, Ms. Empower, here to help empower as many people as I can to be more healthy in your mind, your body, and your soul. So tonight's segment, we are going to be going back a little bit and talking about episode 3, and we're going to jump into episode 4. We're kind of recapping on 4 just a little bit too, because I think I talked about 4 just a little bit before I got off last week. And then we're going to jump into episode 5. We're going to wrap it up with that. So I just want to give 1 minute for a few more people to log on before I start tonight. And I actually have an icebreaker. While I'm waiting for more people to log in, I'll go ahead and do the icebreaker. I like to do icebreakers on Let's Talk About It Tuesday because it just kind of opens us up for what it is we're going to talk about. So, my icebreaker tonight is, what can a woman do to keep her man from cheating? Or the question should be, is there anything you can do? So this is my advice to anybody, and you can comment, you can give your opinion on this particular question. What can a woman do to, let me read it because I didn't read it, I just tried to remember. What can a woman do to stop her man from cheating? So let me say this. There is nothing that you can do to keep anyone from cheating. If a person wants to cheat, They're going to do it if that's what they want to do. There's nothing you can do. I don't care how good the loving is at home. It makes no difference. I don't care how nice you are to that person. I don't care how much you cook for that person. I don't care how much you run the bath water for that person. I don't care how much you make sure that you have that person's back. If they want to cheat, they're going to. There is nothing that you can do to stop someone from doing that. I see a lot of responses a lot of times when people ask that question on social media. I see men come in and say, sex him. It doesn't matter whether you're sexing him or not. If he wants to cheat, he's going to cheat. And the same thing with a woman. If a woman's going to step out and cheat, that's just what she was going to do anyway. It doesn't matter whether they're on social media or not. If someone wants to cheat, they're going to cheat. A lot of times, social media is blamed for the reasons why people cheat, and that's not true. Anybody that wants to cheat is just going to do it, whether we had a social media or not. People are out there cheating who are not on social media. So it's important to know that if somebody's going to do it, they're going to do it. And there's nothing that you can do about it. You can be the best wife, the best husband, and we see these things all the time where um, people step outside of their marriage, and it's not necessarily their partner's um, it's not necessarily their fault, the partner's fault. A lot of times they say, well, they're not getting something at home. Well, if they're not getting something at home, what do you think you should do? You should sit down and have a conversation about that. So let me go ahead and jump into it. That's my answer. Please feel free to type in the comments your answer. You can type your comment throughout the segment, and I will jump in and out by reading it. We'll discuss your answer and keep moving. So, in episode 3, because I want to recap a little bit for those of you who might have missed last week, or it may help you for me to talk about 3 before we jump in. So, in episode 3, we know that Andrea's husband found out that she was having an affair, with Jason. Well, he thought they were having sex, but at that time, they were not having sex. They were having an emotional relationship, which really to me is just as bad as having a physical relationship with someone, because you're really involved. You're talking about everything. You're really connected emotionally. So he found out about that. And then in return, she found out that he had been having an affair for a whole year. And come to find out, he was having an affair with somebody that they both knew, somebody that came to their functions, their events that they had, came to their wedding, which is really, really something. So while she felt like there was something missing in her marriage and she couldn't figure out what it was, and she thought it was just her after having the baby and she just going through some things, well, her husband was cheating on her. So to me, that's the woman's intuition. She felt something wasn't right, but she couldn't put her finger on it. And that is what was going on. He was cheating on her before she ever thought about cheating on him. So as we move forward in that, her husband tells her that he wants a divorce, and she can't understand why he wants this divorce. Now, this is before she finds out that he had been cheating, but it didn't take him long to tell her that he's been seeing somebody for a year. But he lied about how he met them. He told her he met her on vacation, but this was a young lady that he already knew, that they both knew. So she didn't understand why that he wanted this divorce. Now that we both know that we both cheated, why not work on our marriage, stay together? Because I don't believe in divorce. And she grew up in a 2-parent home where both of her parents were in that home together, regardless of what they were going through. They stuck in there, they hung in there. And that's what she thought her and her husband should do. Well, her husband didn't feel that way. He wanted a divorce. He wanted to even have a going away party to celebrate that they were divorcing, which I've never heard of such. But that's what he wanted to do. And he wanted to announce to their friends that he was seeing this other person. So, of course, she's going through a lot of different emotions. She's trying to figure everything out. So, she's being accused of sleeping with Jason, but she never had. So, she planned this trip to Vegas during a time where there was a fight. And Jason came with his crew, and she had her crew. So some of their crew dropped out of going to on this trip, so they still had a few people with them. They went on this trip, and that's where they finally had sex. And she said, "Well, at least I know that I'm getting a divorce, but I finally did sleep with this man, and he's good in bed, so I feel better about it than being told that I slept with him and I didn't, and I'm getting a divorce behind that." So Andrea and Jason, they start trying to move forward, but they're kind of having problems with that when they come back from Vegas. So her husband decides to tell her that she's not fighting. Hey, Lucky, thanks for joining. Let me see, can I make you a monitor on here real quick? Okay, last time. Oh, that's not what I want. Sorry. I don't know if it's gonna let me do it. Let me see if this works. Maybe I don't need a monitor because I you have to be a subscriber. Yeah, I'm gonna have to play with this next time, but I appreciate you, Lucky. Okay, so we're talking about episode 4. After the trip from Vegas, they're coming back. Did you get a chance to listen? And good evening to you. So anyway, so let me go ahead. So episode 4, they're in Vegas. They come back from Vegas, and Andrea's husband is now trying to make her feel guilty because he feels like she's not fighting for the relationship. And it's just that's just not making sense to her, because she wanted to try to make it work. So she now tells Jason, I may have to stop talking to you. I'm going to give this a chance, and he understands. So she goes back over here and try to make things work with her husband. Now he doesn't want it. He still wants the divorce. So they're proceeding. They're doing the counseling and everything. They tell their daughter eventually. And um, okay, so now let's get into Jason and his wife. Okay, after you listen tonight, you may want to go back. So um, we're going to get into Jason and his wife now. So Jason and Andrea are still talking. And so Andrea lets Jason know that she's going to have to move out and she's going to have to get her own place. And so she's trying to get this money together. Now she has to get a car because her and her husband shared a car. She needs to get her own place. So he asked her, how much does she need? And she's like, well, I wasn't expecting you to give me anything. We just met. So he told her to meet him somewhere. He gave her $5,000 to put in her account. So she's able to get her place. She's able to furnish it. She has a really nice place. And now that's the place for them to spend time together when her daughter is not there. And she is making sure that when he comes over, that he does not want to leave, right? So it's kind of a weird situation, but Jason is enjoying spending a lot of time with her because he'd rather be with her, but he has no grounds to leave his wife. But he's feeling like something's not right. And so him and his wife, they were kind of going back and forth one day. She's like, "So what's going on with you?" And he's like, "Well, what's going on with you?" And so he's feeling like, as he's talking to Andrea, that his wife is cheating on him. But he hasn't caught her. He can't really put his finger on it, but he feels like she is. So Andrea tells him about this spyware, which he connects to his computer. I'm sorry, to her computer. And every time that she changes a password to something, he gets an email and it tells him what it was that she typed in. So he's able to get in and see everything that she's doing. So this one particular night, she says, "I need some money. I'm about to go out with my girls. We're going to Atlantic City." And he's like, "Cool, cool," because whenever she leaves the house, that gives him more time to have phone conversations with Andrea. So she leaves the house and she goes, and the computer lets him know that she's not in Atlantic City. She's somewhere else. So it shows that it's a hotel. Right. So we know she's cheating on him, right? So he calls. Now, first he's going to get his sister to come and sit with the kids, but Andrea talks him out of it. So he calls. And he's like, "What are you doing?" or whatever. So he busts her. It's like now he knows that she's messing around with somebody. And she's like, "Well, I'm about to leave. I'm about to leave." And he was like, "No, you can just stay." And she's like, "No, I'm about to leave." So when she came home, he asked her, "Who were you with? Who is this person? What's their name?" He's just asking all these questions. And she's saying, she tells him Johnny, just gives him just a vague name, just Johnny. And he's like, "Johnny. Okay, what's Johnny's last name?" And so she threw out Johnson. So she's not going to tell him, who this person is because she does not want him going after this guy. So now he knows that his wife is cheating. So now he's comfortable with what he's been doing. So let's just go back a little bit. Does he have the right to be upset? Because he's been having this affair with his wife. I'm sorry. He's been having this affair with Andrea in all this time. So does he have the right to be upset about this guy, Johnny Johnson? Does he have the right to be upset that she's not given the name? So that's my question. So lady, sorry. Before you logged on, I had an icebreaker, and the question is, what can a woman do to stop her man from cheating? Do you have an answer for that? Because my response was, there's nothing that you can do to keep somebody from cheating on you. If they want to cheat, they're going to cheat. They absolutely are going to cheat, and they're going to do whatever they want to do. If that's what they want to do. And it makes no difference how good you are to them or whatever the case is. So you can, right, absolutely. So if you want to put something else in there, you can. So I'm going to just keep moving on with the Johnny Johnson. So now that it's out there, he knows that she's cheating. I believe she knows he's cheating, but she just hasn't said anything to him. She probably has that woman's intuition, and that could be the reason why she started cheating on him. We just don't know that, it was never said whether she knew or not. But I feel like she had women's tuition and was like, "Look, if he out here doing something, I'm about to be out here doing something too." And that just goes back to, in a marriage, when you are feeling a way, you should be able to communicate with each other so that things can be worked out. But it just seems like it's really hard for couples to come together and communicate their feelings. And often during this podcast, I kept hearing Jason say he didn't really want to get involved in a conversation with her because he didn't really want to be with her anymore. He felt like everything he was needing, he was getting from Andrea, and he just felt like things just weren't right with them. Oh, did I bring my charger in here? Oh, God. Hold on 1 second, guys. I left my charger in the other room. So, Johnny Johnson. So, Jason continues to use that spyware to see what's going on. I think this don't go. Do it go right here? Let's see. Are we okay? Okay, they do say that it's plugged in. I don't know, y'all. Okay. So he continues to track what she's doing. And so I think he was saying Valentine's Day came up and he had got some flowers. And for some reason, he felt like he needed to call the florist to see. He was trying to see if there were other flowers delivered to somebody else. So he called and acted like he was the person that sent the flowers. And he said he wanted copies of the cards that were sent to him. And so that was sent to him. And so he saw the person's name on there. And of course, he kept referring to Johnny Johnson because he didn't want to say the name. But he knew for a fact that it was somebody else too. So now he's talking to her about it. And he's saying, let's try to work it out. You know, because he's thinking about the girls. And he wants to try to work their marriage out. But she says, no. Because if I try to work it out with you and it doesn't work, then I'm going to lose Johnny Johnson. Wow. What a blow. What a blow. So it's almost like that's what Andrea's husband did. Because when she wanted to try to work things out, he was like, no. You know, he didn't necessarily say, I don't want to lose this woman over here. But it was obvious that he was ready to move forward in his relationship with this other woman. So, what do you think about that? Because that's a lot, you know, for your partner, your husband, your wife, you know, to tell you, no, I don't want to work things out with you because I don't want to lose my side piece if things don't work out with us. So, telling you, cheating devastates a family. It breaks the hearts of many people. It breaks people down. People go through so much because of cheating when you might have been able to avoid some of this stuff by going to your partner and saying, hey, this is how I feel. But this is the thing about Andrea. I am wondering, even if she had went to her husband and told him how she felt, would it have made a difference? Because he'd already been dating that woman for a whole year, you know, and he never said anything to her. And what he said to her was he started dating somebody else because he knew he could tell that she was unhappy, and he knew eventually she was going to cheat on him. Now, that's crazy. Like, I feel like your partner is there to take care of you, to nurture you, to pour into you, to be your safety net. That's not a safety net. You just set me up to fall. That's how I receive that. Any thoughts on that? So, Now they all know. Well, let me say this. I think Jason's wife knows that he's cheating, but she hasn't said anything to him about that. So now that Jason's wife says no, she doesn't want to try to work things out with him because she doesn't want to lose out on Johnny over here. Let me read your comment real quick. You can only do so much talking in a relationship before spite and distance come into play. And that's true. But it's so much help out here. It's so much help out here. We can't do it by ourselves. If it's something that needs to be talked about, worked through, and you can't work through it together, get the help. There are retreats out here. There is counseling. There is coaching. It is so much out here to help us in our marriages, our relationships. But so many people are so used to, well, I'll step out here because at least I'll feel a little better. At least I think I will. Instead of being 100% in your marriage or in your relationship, you will step out for this 20% over here. And that's true. And I feel like if people don't want to fix it, as Lady just said, divorce, leave each other. Don't, it creates so much. What happens is people stop trusting. They stop trusting people. And it's, they start feeling disloyal, betrayed, angry, bitter. All types of feelings start brewing inside, because of the hurt that the cheating causes. So just look at Andrea as an example. She stepped out and had this emotional relationship with this man. And then she finds out that her husband is having an emotional and a sexual relationship with someone else for the past year. Look how that hurt her. That hurt her. And then she couldn't go and be with this guy over here that she's been having an emotional relationship with because he's married. She didn't even have a safety net for real. And so think about all the hurt and the pain that she was feeling. And the uncertainty, like you don't know what the next step is. Absolutely. So like he says, right, it only compounds and gets worse. And that's so true. So many people get hurt in this. And so Andrea and Jason now, they start getting really bold, because Jason's wife is saying, okay, I'm not going to leave my guy for you. So now Jason's like, well, I can do what I want to do now because I know she over there doing that. So me and my baby over here, we can do what we want. We can be out. We can be out in the spotlight and everything. So now they had an invitation to a party with some mutual friends. And Andrea said, oh, well, send it to Jason's address. Now, this woman, his wife, still lives there. Why? Why on earth would you send that to their house? You want her to know about you now because you want her to leave so that you can be with him. But little does she know it's not going to be that simple. So, ladies, we can be a little petty if we need to, So this invitation comes to the house. His wife sees it. And now she's asking questions. So this is how we're gonna slide into episode 6 on next week, talking about what happens now. Because they had gotten really, really comfortable and bold. They're going out on dates, out in public, not caring where they were before. Before they were going to places where they can be just kind of little laid back, low key. And now they're not doing that. They're just out in the open with it. Andrea's thinking, okay, I'm about to get my man, but it's not going to be that easy for her. It's still going to be some things happening now to keep that from happening because of how you did that. You just sent that to that house with both of y'all names on this invitation. Now she knows who you are. a lot of messy stuff going on, guys. Cheating is not the best thing to do. I feel like in the moment that you feel like you're ready to cheat, that's the moment you're ready to leave that relationship. The moment you feel like you're ready to mistreat your spouse, it's time to get out of that relationship. You know, if you're not going to try to work on it together with some type of professional help, then you need to go ahead and cut ties because it's really unfair for those in the relationship that get mistreated. You know, in this case, all four of them are cheating on each other. But I just really, in my heart, feels like Jada, Jason's wife, she probably had that women's tuition that something was going on, but she couldn't prove it. But now she has her proof. So, are there any questions or comments on what we discussed so far? Again, there are 10 episodes, and I want to try to get through them so that we can start talking about other topics on this channel. Um, but every Wednesday, there will be either a short uploaded or I might do a live, and it'll be a Dear Ms. Empower segment. So it'll be emails that I received from someone about a relationship dilemma or a family dilemma that they need to talk about, and they want my advice on it or my thoughts. So tomorrow will be the first one that you'll see on Wednesday. I'm looking forward to doing that. At this point, I think it's going to be a short. It may not be a live, but we'll see tomorrow. So let me see. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. I appreciate all of you that took the time to log on with me tonight. I look forward to talking with you guys tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. And again next week on Tuesday. So next week on Tuesday, we will jump into episode 6 and 7. Um, and like I said, I want to go ahead and get through the episodes and finish out the conversation on cheating so that we can move on to something else. But let me ask you guys something. Have anybody ever experienced, hey, Rail, thanks for logging on with me tonight. Have anybody ever experienced being in the workplace as a Black woman and being viewed and treated differently than those of other races? If that answer is yes, that is something that I am bringing to my channel as well. There's going to be a panel set up for that as well. If that is something you're interested in, please comment below. I want to make sure that I am talking about topics and bringing things to the channel that really are helping people, that I'm reaching my audience. I'm trying to grow my audience. So I really I'm hoping for more subscribers. So if you've not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, hit that bell, hit that like button. When you hit the bell, that gives you notifications every time that I upload a video. My channel will be growing. I'm looking forward to doing more with you guys. All right. So with that being said, I look forward to talking to you guys on next Tuesday. I look forward to you guys watching the video tomorrow. Have a great night.